Welcome, and our sincere apologies for a late start. We had some technical issues, and we are very, very, very happy to be here with four beautiful panelists. And while we were waiting, we were talking politics, and it was so much fun. So let's quickly introduce our panelists, and then we're going to talk a little bit of politics, just a little bit of a background, Boysie, because Boysie is South African living in America, currently in Florida. Hi, Boysie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Then we have Dennis David from Uganda, Kampala. Hi, Dennis. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, Doc. It's a pleasure being here.
Then we have SK or Sikhumbuzo Hlahleni from Cape Town, who will be getting on the bus tomorrow to come to Johannesburg to join Mzansi Ballet in our production of the Queen show in December. Hi, SK. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Dick. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
And then the baby of the conversation, beautiful Lizé Mentz, an entrant in the South African International Ballet Competition, currently preparing for a competition online, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a moment. Hello, Lizé.
Hi, it's very nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's quickly talk. Boysie, for many South Africans watching, explain to us how it works for a South African who now live in the US. Do you have, what status do you have, and can you actually vote at the moment?
I currently have a green card status. So I think next year in June will be 5 years that I've been a permanent resident. So I have the same rights as any other American, except for the fact that I cannot vote until I get my naturalization. So right now, as much as I can have an opinion and do my research and everything, there's absolutely nothing I can do but sit and wait.
So you have to sit and bear everything that's going on at the moment. So quickly tell us, I know that in New York there were postings and some of the other states and cities of buildings being boarded up, and kind of something you don't expect to hear about in America, because you're expecting some kind of riots and some kind of unrest.
Yeah.
What's it like in Florida?
I mean, in comparison to somebody that's lived in New York for 11 years, I found that a little bit scary when I started to see stores being boarded up, the Empire State Building, as well as I've seen on the news. But my reality right now living in Florida is that it's business as usual. There's, there aren't people rioting. There aren't people looting and ruining people's businesses. But also, it's a red state. So
again, explain to us what's the difference between the red and the blue state.
Red states are Republican and the Democratic Party is blue. And then you have swing states in between, which are like right now with Pennsylvania and I forgot what the other two are.
Nevada.
Nevada and I think Michigan. I'm not sure. But
and Georgia.
Yeah. So they basically, no matter what the results is, it always really depends on the swing states that actually really do make the decision of who the next president is going to be. And then there's still the possibility of an electoral college. So right now, from what I know, no matter who wins in terms of ballots, there will be an investigation, obviously, afterwards. And then the electoral college is basically who will decide who the next president is. And if it so happens that it gets really bad, then it's going to go to the House, and the House will each state gets one vote. So it's only the beginning, I can say. And the level of anxiety is
that we're in.
Yeah. It's very anxious. The anxiety level, I think, is very high. I don't think just for Americans, I think just internationally, people just waiting to see what's going to happen.
Well, I think this is the point why I did want to just touch on it. We're not going to continue anything because we're not going to get into the details. But the fact is, America votes, but it impacts the world. Yes. And that's why, for me, it's interesting to know what's going on. I know Dennis David spoke of the fact that in Uganda, you are preparing for elections as well. So I'm not even going to go into that. I just want to say good luck with what's happening there. And let's hope that you have a good outcome as well. Having said that, let's talk ballet. So we hosted the South African International Ballet Competition in July. It became the first ballet competition to go online in its entirety, which was really, really lovely to know that it came from South Africa. We launched the Art of Life application that hosted it and will host many, many other shows, and you'll be able to purchase tickets for many, many more shows in and around South Africa and the world through the app. So that's all exciting. So Lizé, let's talk about the SAIBC, and then we're going to watch your video clip of your entry, and then we're going to talk about also you preparing for the next competition. Talk about that competition. And before you answer, Lizé, Alison Sishi, one of your fellow dancers in Mzansi Ballet, sent a message to Boysie and SK and Lizé saying, love you guys so much. And it's very nice to know that we have a friend watching. Thanks, Ali, and we see you tomorrow in rehearsal. So, Lizé, talk to us.
Okay, so the SAIBC competition was this amazing competition, of course, the first virtual competition. And I think it just took everything to the next level. You know, it was very well organized, and I think we also learned a lot through that time, and we all the dancers discovered themselves in a different way. And being online, it was different, but I think it was also good, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good experience to, while we were in lockdown, still be able to dance and showcase what we are capable of. So
and it was amazing. I'm going to interrupt because we were very fortunate that we had Ted Branson as the chairman of the jury. We had Madame Fang Ying from China. We've had Koreans. We've had so many different people from around the world adjudicating for us. Run Xiao Du from the Kirov Academy in Washington. And they just gave so generously of their time. Christoph Bohm from Berlin. And it was wonderful to be able to see a little star and a spark in the eyes of the competitors. So yes, continue.
No, I think it's absolutely true. You know, everybody around the world coming together to do this competition is just a really amazing opportunity for us all to connect, doing ballet and doing what we love. So I think, yeah, that was a really good experience.
So let's watch you dance, or show the dance that you did in that competition. So that was really, really beautiful and very, very well done. And as I said to you, Dennis David, she has these long limbs, beautiful legs, beautiful arms, beautiful feet, beautiful ballerina, wonderful to watch. Before I get back to you, Lizé, SK, in an interview that you did after the competition with some international channel, you spoke about the fact that you came out because Lizé was filmed in a studio in Pretoria, but you were filmed at the Artscape Theatre thanks to their CEO, Marlene Leroux, who gave us access to the theatre. And you spoke about the fact that you had to dance without any feedback from an audience. There was nobody there. It was just this big black hole. So SK, quickly talk about that for us.
Actually, it was actually challenging for me to actually dance in front of anyone in the theater. Always, it has been a very nice thing to just dance for myself, not to dance for people. That's when I realized that at this point in this competition, I just need to dance for myself because there's actually no one watching because it's a pandemic, it's a COVID. So I really liked it, and I believe like I can dance inside myself much more.
Except that in the end, more than 10,000 people watched you dance without you knowing that they were watching you dance. And that is the wonder of online competitions, because at first, the Artscape Theatre can take just over 1,000 people if it's full. But because we were online, we were able to be seen by so many people around the world. And because it was floating, which is what I call it, it's somewhere in cyberspace, more people could watch it. So, but yeah, it took away, I suppose, the angst and the stress of dancing to a live audience, I suppose. SK?
Yes. I really felt the pressure though by dancing with
Wait, the connectivity is not great, SK.
most of the candidates from SABC, and I really thought to be improving. It was really a good thing though for me. Thank you.
Well, great. Let's go back to Lizé, because Lizé, what is the name of the competition that you are currently preparing for?
The Californian Dance Classics competition.
And when does that take place?
Well, the entries should close end of November, so I'm hoping to film everything around after the 20th, maybe.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Let's switch to Dennis David. Dennis, let's watch a little bit of a clip of you and and what you do, and then we talk to you.
Okay.
So, just quickly, hi Paige, it's nice to see you watching as well. So, what has happened with this period that we have entered, the COVID time, is that suddenly we are connected more and more to a greater world of ballet in Africa. So suddenly we have connections with Nigeria, with Uganda, with Ghana, with the DRC, with Namibia, with Zimbabwe. which in the past, for some reason, wasn't that easy to do. So tell us what's happening ballet-wise in Uganda.
Currently in Uganda, actually, most of the... Okay, again, my name is Dennis David, and I'm very, very grateful, Doc, for letting me be part of this platform with Lizé, the lady with the long limbs, and Sikhumbuzo that actually had a cyber audience, and Boysie in the States. So again, my name is Dennis David, the founder of the dance studio. So currently in the ballet world in Uganda, most of the ballet schools have actually closed, and some of the businesses have also been wiped out. However, most of them are opting for online classes, which my parents don't feel like we need to do, because they don't feel like their kids connect more in the actually online. So they prefer to meet in person. So currently we developed a program that actually helps to develop professional ballet dancers straight from scratch. So it's a project that we are currently running, and we're also working with a few teachers from different schools.
And so you have devised this program. So tell us a little bit more about the program that you are running, because I saw that you started your training with a teacher in the Vaganova system. What is the system that you are following? Where does it come from?
Okay, first of all, I was actually told by a lady called Julia. Julia was a student, and she was also an assistant trainer, student teacher in the Bolshoi. So when she came over to Uganda, I met her. I don't know, I think it must have been a godly encounter. So she comes over to the studio, and she's trying to find a studio where she can train ballet. So she comes to the studio, and boom, our eyes cross. And immediately our eyes crossed. I think it was ballet at first sight, I would say. So we start interacting and interacting. I share my love for ballet with her, and she's like, I'd actually be glad to take you through an intensive training, because I'll be leaving in a few months. So I let her know how grateful I am. We start training intensively. So after a few months, she tells me I'm actually leaving. So I ask her how she's going to leave me. She tells me, what do you mean? How am I going to leave you? So I tell her I need to grow and become better. So she leaves me with this book. And what I mean by book, she leaves me with a lot of information. And she tells me, I feel down that you are very, very passionate about ballet, and leaving you with all this information, I know you're going to become a better dancer and groom lots of other dancers. I just smiled at her and I asked her, can I take you for ice cream? She's like, cool. So as we were, the studio is actually currently at Acacia Mall. So as we were heading to the ice cream, I saw some fruits. We call them jackfruit, but personally, I call them locos because they're local fruits. So we decided to have local fruits with her as we're talking about ballet. So to cut the long story short, that's how I actually got training from this lady, and I decided to keep reading and reading. And the style of ballet is actually the Vaganova style of ballet. And after her departure, because of reading, I attained a lot of information. I got to read about the Belanchin style, which is also similar to the Vaganova. I got to be exposed to the RAD style, the Royal Academy of Dance. Then there are lots of other styles. So out of these styles, I decided to mainly focus on the Vaganova, but as well borrow some things from all these other styles to create something that I feel is comfortable for my children, for the Ugandan students. So at first, when she actually trained me, I would teach the Vaganova way. And you know, our Ugandan students are not like the Russian students. So, and the trainer, Julia, told me, don't train Ugandan students like the Russian students. Train them like the Ugandan students.
So important.
So I decided to From then, I decided to train our students, like the Ugandan students. And despite the fact that most of the ballet teachers are very extremely strict, they don't laugh, they don't do what. With my students, we have a time to laugh, we have a time to work, we have a time to jump, we have a time to joke. When it's time to work, I tell them it's time to work. If they joke, I tell them no one is actually going to pay you, or no one is going to pay for a show that has got joke work. So you need to actually work extremely harder. So I keep telling them, if you know you're going to be the very first professional ballet dancer in Uganda, you need to work extremely harder. So when you actually told me that Lizé has long limbs, I have a few girls that have very long legs, but they're scared of showing them. So I keep telling them, you have the most beautiful ballet legs. I wish you knew what you have. So they keep showing me over and over, and they keep learning over time.
And now you can show them Lizé's video and show them what they can do with those long legs and long limbs, because that's really what all of this is about. It is about connecting. It's about creating a space where we can teach and reteach. Boysie, so you come from South Africa.
Yes.
From many, many years ago. I remember you being in, was it Alexandra?
Yes.
So take us from Alexandra to where you are today.
So originally I started ballet when I was, I think, 10 with Sula Cordia at school. I was doing the Giacchetti method. And back and forth, my parents hated the fact that I wanted to be a dancer. I still think that they hold it against me, but who cares? So I ended up going to the National School of the Arts, and then left to join, at the time, what was South African Ballet Theatre. And then in 2008, I did the first SAIBC in Cape Town, and I got a scholarship through Sub-Team Weber to attend the Washington School of Ballet. So that's basically everything that happened in a very short space of time, I think. And I spent, I think, about a year and a half in DC. And then in 2009, I did YAGP, and I finished in the top 12 of that. But I remember a funny story of me asking the director if I could go to YAGP, and he laughed at me and said, that's for, you know, the best dancers. So when I got to DC, I had a lot of catching up to do. So I would take class in the morning with the company, or an open class. Then I would work the front desk for my stipend, take all of my classes in the afternoon, and then stay later to take class with the young kids, because I basically had to retrain my body to be at the level of, you know, being in America, because I was nowhere near where I thought that I was. So the best thing that I think I ever did was to leave and actually force myself into, you know, not thinking that everything is emotional. You know, ballet is ballet, a tendu is a tendu, and it needs to be done a certain way. So I had to change my whole mindset and mentality to that. And I think that really helped me progress technically very quickly. And also being critical of myself more than, you know, anybody else would be, because I really had to look at myself and think, okay, take the ego out of it. There are 12-year-old children that are dancing better than you, so you need to step it up. So that's what I did. And then I decided I needed a job, and New York just made sense, because, you know, for somebody that wants to be a dancer, but then I wasn't sure if I'd get into a ballet company. I'm really short. I don't have the highest legs. I've got this. I don't have that. And New York just seemed like the perfect place to be in terms of wanting to get a startup with a career at my age and just see where it goes. So yeah, that's how I landed up in the Big Apple and stayed there for 11 years.
So which then brings me to the conversation that Dennis David had about the Ugandan style. So you're in America.
Mm-hmm.
in New York, one of the ballet capitals of the world. There's a few, I would say, but New York is New York, and it has access to anything and everything that you can imagine, and to everybody.
Yeah.
What kind of school of training thought did you then land in? You know, in South Africa, you were kind of given a kind of a bit of a mushmash, I would say.
Yes.
But then when you got to New York, after you'd been to DC, because did you work with Mr. Hun in Washington?
Oh, yes. He would stand in the wings. Yes.
And so then when you landed in New York, what kind of school of training, school of thought did you then kind of feel worked for you?
For me, it's a mixture, but I will definitely say my number one is still Charlotte, because of how worldly she is, and so many ways of how she looks at the body and got my body to a different place. And there's an understanding that she has. And then there is a mix of her and Willie Berman, who's more of like a balance sheet. Everything is quicker, everything's more precise, everything is very, very, very balance sheet-esque. And I found that the mixture of those two was really, really helpful to me. And especially considering that I, had gone off for a little bit, and then I had my hip replaced. And I thought, if I go back and do something like, a Willie Berman class, my hips will hate it. And it was the exact opposite. So it was a mixture of that, and also having Charla say, okay, you know that you have better training than this. You know that you have better arms like this. You know better. Let's get it all together.
And so then you landed up doing something way different from what many dancers set out. And that is, you landed up in the trucks.
Yes.
So talk about that, because it's such a beautiful company. You do such amazing things, but it's such a specialized and niche experience. So how do you go from not being on point to being on point, etc., etc., etc.?
Oh my gosh. I think I'm crazy, number one. The best thing I would say is I've seen so much of the world. I've traveled so much. I've performed in some of the best theaters in the world. And the most terrifying thing I think about when I joined the trucks was having to find a comedic personality, because timing is everything. And the company has shifted so much from what I would say in 1999 when they came to South Africa to now. It's very technical now. It's no longer, we're just parroting the ballets. There's a huge understanding that one needs to have of the ballet, of the character, before you can even do anything with it, because ultimately it has to be your own. So there's a lot of, I would say, artistic integrity that goes behind it, because you have to understand something before you can parody it. So I remember doing Patakat, and I think I was doing the first variation. So I kept freaking out and thinking, but who do I watch? Who do I watch? So I watched videos of Eva Abdokimova over and over again, because she was light, she was, airy. And that also worked. And then my name is Sonia Leftover, and I think I'm a Danish prune ballerina. No clue where that comes from, but then I have to come up with a personality for who the hell Sonia is. So there was all of that came together, but it came with time, I think. And also as I matured and I became more comfortable in the certain roles that I was doing, it became easier. Because one thing is, okay, I'm in the core of Swan Lake and it's very funny. And then the next thing I'm dancing Don Q Pas de Deux, which is got like 2 to 3 jokes and that's it. But the rest of it is super technical. So there's just that good balance of finding between comedy and technique, because we actually do a lot and we work extremely hard on the technical aspect of it before we can even get close to joking about things.
So I have a question from my sister who's watching. She didn't answer right here. She wrote on my phone, which is why I'm on my phone. And she wants to know exactly what are the trucks? So you know, you and I speak about it as if the whole world knows
The
what
whole
it
world.
is. Having said, it's a very niched thing. So tell us a little bit more about the trucks, and then we're going to get to you, SK, and not talking about the trucks. We'll watch you dance your solo from the competition.
The Chalks was basically formed, I think, in the Village in New York, where gay men dressing as women and on point started to experiment with that, but more of a comedy type of style. So it was more like, you know, dinner and a show. And this was around the time when it was a very huge movement of the LGBTQ community happening. Stonewall was happening around that time. There was a lot happening, the AIDS crisis. So this was when it all really started, where people had a safe space to go and laugh at something and just enjoy their evening, which then ended up developing into the fact, first of all, it's an all-male company. And we do both male roles and female roles. And in saying that, you have to be able to dance on point. It's no longer something you can think about. You actually have to be able to dance on point completely. And then, like you said, 2 seconds later, you're a guy. So that's basically how it started.
Talk about schizophrenia and practice.
Exactly. So that's how it started. And then it morphed into something that became a touring company. So I would say if I add it all up, about 8 months of the year, I was basically living out of a suitcase, in and out of New York, different country, on a plane, on a bus, on stage, which became more of my life. It was no longer, oh, I'm traveling. My life was on the road. But with that, you get to learn so much about different cultures and how they intake comedy, especially when I can say, okay, the Japanese audience is extremely different from the audience in France, because the Japanese go crazy for Trocadero, and literally, you know, you'd get to the airport and there are fans waiting for you to get there. It's a completely different thing. They're different cultures. And the best thing about the company is that they have people from all over the world. So not just the traveling aspect and seeing the world, the company is made up of people from all over the world. So you get to learn about different cultures, and also different the way in which people live in different ways as gay men all around the world, all in one family, if I can say that.
So I think it really, really is mind-changing. It has such a huge impact on society. And in the end, it teaches us so much about tolerance and acceptance, but also teaches us about ballet. I know I sat in one of your rehearsals at the Ballet Hispanico studio, and I was just absolutely flabbergasted by the sense of detail that was imparted to the members of the company, and that was in the end included into the performance. So it wasn't just a farcical experience. It was really, really a great and beautiful experience. So thank you for that. Let's watch SK doing his solo from the SAIBC. Please, Lauge. Bravo, Mr.
Wow.
Hlahleni.
Thank you.
So beautiful to watch, and yet in a country where we have the greatest majority of Black people, it is still rare to see a Black male dancer, well, a Black male or female dancer, do classical ballet. So what are the hardships and the challenges that you used to face, and still face today?
For me, it's being in a township, growing up in a township as a ballet dancer. It's been a lot challenging. You're focused to go to school. I mean, when I grow up, I used to go to school, come back. I have to stretch. I have a small house, which is a lot of challenge because I have to ask my mom for a room or something to stretch on. But when I grow older, it became a more relaxed, because I see most of the generation before me was incredible, was extremely hardworking, and they wanted what they want, like Toriso Magongwa and Mtuduzeli November. They so much inspiring, and including you, Boysie. You have so much incredible stories. I'm glad to listen to you today. It's pushing me. It's actually pushing me extremely. And I love everything about ballet. Thank you.
So I just enjoy seeing this, because both Boysie and SK and Dennis, I don't know you well enough to know the answer to it. But for the other two, when you grew up in your township, did you have the dreams that you wanted to travel the world with something, and then ballet became that key to the world? Boysie, let's start with you.
I think for me, absolutely. I lived, breathed, ballet was everything to me. And I think it came into my life at a perfect time, because my home life was just so disruptive that first of all, it came as a saving grace, because I had something that I could focus on. And then I really discovered the love that I have for it, and I just wanted more. I was too hungry. And I did want to travel the world. I did want to experience what it would be like to be in a different country, what it would be like to learn from different people and experience different ways of working and growing as an artist. So it's always been a dream of mine to just fly.
SK?
For me, first, I didn't even think about flying. It was just being for fun. I was just doing ballet just for fun. But as the time goes, seeing people going all over around the world, and I told myself I need to push more harder. I need to make something out of it. And I felt in love with it. I want to see what's happening around the world with ballet. So I feel like now that I'm older, I still want to push myself to see more what's happening outside the world. So I would say it's a much privilege if I will go outside the world and see what's happening in the other countries.
I remember the moment we were in Curitiba in Brazil last year in September to perform Bengingazi there. And we were the 10 dancers and myself and my son walking in the park in Curitiba. And it was the first time that all of us were there. We all had traveled, some more than others. Some actually had never traveled before. I remember some of our friends coming back and saying, oh, but they won't take our South African rands. And I said, but you're in Brazil. The rand doesn't exist in Brazil. And somebody else would say, oh, but they don't speak English. And I said, yes, you're in Brazil. English is not the first language. And then we were walking in the park as a group. And I don't know if you remember that beautiful park that we were walking in. And suddenly we were 11 South Africans walking in a park, just the same, taken out of our South African environment where we have, this one is more privileged than that one. And that was one of the most beautiful moments I will ever remember in my world in the ballet, because it was a true equalizer. And so I thought that was just such a beautiful moment. And then we were lucky that your friend Christine and a friend of mine, Christine Elliott, came to visit us. But which then brings me quickly to the last thing that I want to talk before we're going to start talking about the Queen show, is the fact that not a single one of us, and yourselves included, was trained by one person, was supported by one person. It was the community that came together that made it happen. And I just think that is something that is so beautiful in our lives. Boysie, I know you can make a list. One day you actually posted on Facebook a list of people that you wanted to thank.
Yeah.
And even if we sometimes fall out with somebody, they still had such an important role to play in our development. And that is something I would like to say thank you to the people in my life. And I quickly want to say thank you to the people like the Lottery, the people like the Mary Oppenheimer and Daughter Foundation, the different funders that have made the ballet possible. So I don't know if each one of you want to say or mention one or two people that you would like to say thank you to. But before I get to that, Angela Malani is saying, hi, gorgeous people. Friends, Alex Pascoe is watching. So there's a few people more that are watching, and we are very, very happy to see you here. Let's quickly go and do a round robin. Lizé, let's talk with you. Who are some of the people that, I know your mom and dad, they deserve a gold medal because they drive you around.
Yes.
I cannot believe it. I mean, 60 kilometers one way, 60 kilometers back, and 60 kilometers all in one day. So let's start with you, Lizé.
Yeah, definitely my parents. They play a big role in everything. And my first ballet teacher, Tanya Faree, she was just this amazing person. She was not only a teacher to me, but also kind of second mother to me, and she taught me so much. She taught me how to love dance and what it means to be a dancer, and that's just something that doesn't come easy. And also to Deborah Gash, my current teacher, she's also really, really good in what she does. She's pays good attention to all those details, those tiny details. And also to Andrew Gash, who's my personal trainer and helps me in the strength-wise one, yes. And there's also so many other teachers that I've come across and who have helped me and develop my body, and who I'm very grateful for, and I will always keep that and cherish that moment.
And I think it's so important that we open the doors to the love instead of blocking doors and saying, let's make the ballet community in South Africa, in Africa, and in the world a much more accepting and caring one. SK, your people.
I would like to say thank you to my mom and dad, to Phyllis Spira, and to all the dance around the world, around South Africa. Sorry, to you, Derek, the last and least person, to Christine Elliott. She has been an incredible woman to me. I love her so much. I hope she's watching right now. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Dennis, David.
Yes, I'm so excited actually when this time comes for me to be grateful to the people that have actually met me who I am. I haven't been groomed by myself. So I would like to say thanks to my very, very first teacher, Miss Julia Adrighetti. And I'd like to say thank you to the very, very first parents that believed in me, and the current parents that have actually supported the dance studio in line with ballet. And my current mentor, Mr. Julius Lugaya, I hope he's watching, from the Kampala Dance Studio, actually. I hope you remember that, Dark. And I also want to thank you, Dark. Yes, and lastly, I want to thank South Media that has actually tried to promote the dance studio photos and the ballet students. And I'm so grateful for every person who is actually here that has made it possible for me to actually be on this broadcast.
Boysie.
Oh, the dictionary. I'd like to start off by thanking you for everything and opening so many doors for me from the time that I was young, still to this day. Yanette Kutsia, Natasha Island, Kristen Tachev, Eric Bowen, Danelle Kraus, Carlos Valcarcel, Madame Slua Kimgureva, Kiwan Han, Willie Berman, Fiona Brown, Sue LaCordia, Brian and Jeffrey, and last but not least, the mother of all that I am, Charla Gem.
Absolutely. Charla is the mother of so many South Africans landing in the US and has been incredible in all of that. I think my own family, my own family has been incredible. My mother, my sister, my brother has just been fantastic. They have been supportive throughout the whole life that I've done this. I've had uncles and aunts that have supported, and then there are many teachers that have just had such a positive impact. I started late, so I always say the fact that I started late probably kept me out of or off the stage, but definitely placed me very well in the administrator role that I am today. And so to all of those people, so thank you very much, because it's so very important. Let's watch.
Can I say something, Doc?
Yes, Dennis.
Yes, I don't want to forget the most important person that makes sure we have life, and that is the Almighty God. So that actually put things in place. I just want to say great kudos. I want to thank God that He has actually managed to put things in place for us to encounter.
Thank you for those beautiful words. Lizé, Tanya Farise, special interview. Thanks, Dirk Badenhorst. Gorgeous Lizé, may you fly for now and forevermore. Thank you very much, Tanya, for those beautiful words. We're quickly going to switch to the Queen Show. Let's watch a little clip from the Queen Show, which we performed in January of this year at the Peter Turin Theatre at Monte Cassino. Yes, so that was the Queen Show, and I hope that we can raise some money to bring Monier from Spain, because we have to pay for his flight ticket to South Africa. If somebody can maybe think of contributing to that, that would be wonderful. But it was such a wonderful event, and Angela, I hope you're still watching, because it was so exquisite to see you perform in it. Beautifully choreographed by Angela and Michael Reevy. Costume by David Hutt, obviously the music by Queen, and it will be performed again on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of December, at the Monte de Dios conference and wedding venue in Pretoria East, which is just exquisite. It really, and it will be this outdoor event so that we can. We will sit in and ensure that we stick to the
distance.
Protocol, exactly. All the protocols we have to follow for COVID-19, and then we move into the theater at Monte Cassino on the 7th of December, but we open on the 11th of December, and we run till the 3rd of January, and again, all social distancing and COVID protocols will be followed. The masks, everybody have to wear their mask. Everybody will get sprayed. Everybody gets their temperature taken to ensure that we stick to everything, that we don't make things worse. But we have to perform. We have to bring things back to a sense of normality. And while we have summer, let's make the most of it in South Africa. And I'm so looking forward to seeing SK and Lizé on stage. So Lizé, talk to me. You were 15 or 14 when we actually did that show.
Yeah,
What did it
15.
mean to you as a young dancer to suddenly be in the company of professional dancers from South Africa, from Cuba, and all over? So talk to me about that, please.
Well, firstly, it was a great opportunity, and to work with all these amazing dancers and choreographers was just a new experience that I haven't experienced yet. And yeah, they all took me in really well, and they were very kind to me, and they nurtured me, and it was just so good to work with these people. They're amazing dancers, people, and I really love them. Yes.
Thank you very much, because it really was great to see the development and the growth in you as a dancer until you came on stage. And I remember that solo that you did. In the beginning, I was like, she's not going to pull it off. And then in the end, it was exquisitely beautiful. Your dad and mom kept on watching it. And I sat the one night just with tears in my eyes, seeing the beauty that you were able to bring to the stage. SK, tell me about how it was for you.
Oh, for me, it was a good experience, though, dancing with the beautiful dancers, tall ladies, to be able to lift those girls. It was a pleasure. But yeah, it was a very nice experience. I really like it to dance with those amazing professional dancers. Performing on stage, big stage, hear that music. Everything about Queen Show was just fabulous there. I really liked it. I'm looking forward to do it again. Thank you.
Yes. And we're hoping that we might be in some stage in the future, all depending on the COVID situation. We might even take it to Cape Town in the beginning of next year. And we thank somebody like Peter Turin that's helping us bring it to the stage at his theater at Monte Casino. So it's been an incredible evening talking to all of you. So let's do a quick final thank you and goodbye. Dennis, let's start with you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dark, again. And I wish that my students here in Uganda could also have this opportunity to actually interact with professional dancers. So if anybody actually would love to share their art of dance with our dance students here in Uganda, you could actually get in touch with Dark, or you could get in touch with me on social media, Dennis, David, and then you can actually share the love of ballet with the students. Other than that, thank you so much, Dark. Thank you so much, Leap of Dance Academy. Because of Leap of Dance Academy, I've got so many opportunities in Nigeria, and also MST Dance Center in the US. So I'm so grateful, Dark. Thank you so much, Lizé, Boysie, and Sikhumbuzo. It's incredible having this platform with you.
SK, your final words.
I just want to say thanks to you. Thanks to Mzansi Ballet. It's been a great journey. I'm honored. I'm humbled to be here. I really love to be part of this. Thank you so much, Dek, for everything you've done for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Lizé.
Again, thank you for this amazing opportunity to be here tonight and talk to all of you and to listen to all your amazing stories. I have learned a lot from you during just tonight, and I hope I can see you again sometime. And thank you very much, Dirk.
And then to our Diva Deluxe, Mr. Boysie Dikobe. Thank you, and your final words.
Thank you so much for having me as part of the panel. It's been great to just talk and actually get to meet all of you guys, Lizé, Sikhumbuzo, and to you, Dennis. Toi and Chukas for the competition that's coming up. And to you guys for the Queen Show. Fingers crossed that this COVID thing, moves along so that we can get back to what we love to do and sharing the stage with the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So I remind everybody, so we will do Pretoria the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of December at the Monte de Dios venue in Pretoria East, and then the 11th of December till the 3rd of January at the Peter Turin Theatre at Monte Casino. Next week, we will be talking more detail of this particular competition. And to say goodbye, let's watch the clip from the Queen Show one more time and enjoy it with all of us. And thank you very much to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for your love, and thanks for your love for ballet in particular.